Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. And today I wanted to take a look at inside Star Citizen's strategic reserves. Now on this episode, CAG are going to go into more detail of the story content that they have planned for this year. Now this is an interesting shift by the development of Star Citizen to focus more on quality of life and narrative-driven content story beats. This is a very interesting decision because traditionally CIG has focused on features. Now, the player base have been asking for a very long time for this game to be in a more playable state and to have more quality of life. But I think it's a very interesting decision to, at the same time, add in all of this time-gated mission content. Because if you think about it, uh, I think the smarter decision would be to have, the game more playable and smooth, and to have these quality of life things, and then add in time-gated content. It seems very strange to still run into all of these bugs when you're trying to, do this content that, might go away and you won't get the rewards. So I'm gonna let them talk about it, and I want to hear what they have to say. What's the decision behind this stuff, and what it all means. So let's watch a few clips from this most recent Inside Star Citizen and kind of talk about it.
By now, you will have realized that the Frontier fighters weren't exactly who they said they were. Or, in other cases, they were exactly who they said they were.
Frontier fighters were specifically designed to show players that we can mess with their morals via this narrative storytelling.
Frontier fighters were the ones who staged the attack on Stanton, posing as slicers to cause an uproar about Pyro, to stage a war on Pyro to get rid of the criminal gangs that are there.
It was a band of mercenaries led by a woman called Amelia who wanted to start an attack in Stanton to drum up hate for Pyro so that she could get the backing of regular people to go and attack Pyro.
But that also included civilians, and that also included gangs who had no interest in threatening Stanton at all.
So this was a false flag operation?
Yes, this was a false flag operation.
And you fell for it. You fell for it.
They fell for it.
They fell
but
for it.
you named it Maniac after yourself.
I didn't do that. Haddock did that.
I do have to say, the story is interesting. I think that the way that the narrative team has developed the universe of Star Citizen, it is very unique. And honestly, I think they deserve more credit than they get. I think, Star Citizen's story is very underrated. The reason why is because you look at a lot of other sci-fi and a lot of other stories, they're very linear. So it's kind of hard to tell other stories within their universe. A good example is Star Wars. Star Wars is about Anakin and Vader and Luke and Leia and Han Solo and those characters. And telling other stories feel out of place sometimes. I think, of course, Disney did a pretty good job with Mandalorian. I know there are going to be very opinions about that, how that has been progressing, but I'm still hopeful for that series, of course. But I think that, again, telling other stories within that universe is a little bit more difficult because they all hinge on this one main story, right? Every story that you tell in the Star Wars universe is kind of, you know, earmarked by this main story with Vader and the Death Star and all this kind of stuff. Whereas with Star Citizen, there's kind of none of that, right? It's very open-ended and you can tell whatever story you want in this universe. And that's really good for the player base and, emergent situations. Now that CAG wants to add in more story and eventually have a main story, there is that concern that they'll kind of reduce that capability. But at the same time, kind of seems like the player base's imagination for, some of these things gets blocked behind, bugs and, the game not working as well as it could. So now CIG adding in more story, I kind of feel like, is it really the right time? Or should you make the game more playable so players actually have the ability to tell their own stories in this game? I think there's a lot up in the air with this, so let's keep going.
So our next chapter in March is called Supply or Die. This is split into 3 parts of the event. This is where the CFP and the Headhunters are coming off the heels of the invasion of the Frontier Fighters, and they're trying to resupply and rebuild to continue the efforts of attacking the Frontier Fighters. This event is essentially a one-shot. You have to play it in March, and when the next patch drops after that, you won't be able to play it again or earn rewards.
Okay, so that's really interesting. We have to play it in March, or you won't be able to, complete the missions or get the rewards. Again, very interesting decision for them to do right now. But let's keep going.
With this narrative arc that we're doing for the rest of this year, we're really trying to build these moments in our history where you as the player will come in and experience it, and then if you was here for it, great. But if you wasn't, you've missed out.
For this
I feel like having the content last only 1 month, I don't think that's long enough. I don't think that's enough time. Typically, a season lasts for 3 months or whatnot. Sometimes they can last for about a month, but I think that if CIG did this and it was 2 months or 3 months, I would say minimum 2 months, it would give people more time to do the content. Because if you think about 1 month, you might think of that, if you're not a busy person, that's 30 days, right? But if you're an adult, you have a busy life, maybe that 1 month boils down into 4 weekends, right? And maybe 2 of those weekends get taken up by having to do family stuff. So that 1 month of gameplay boils down even further to 2 weekends, right? And if maybe one of those weekends you get hit by a bunch of bugs, you're thinking to yourself, I have one more weekend to try to get this done. And so that last gameplay session, you're just rushing to do the content so you get the reward, and you're maybe not enjoying it as much as you could be. So I think that CIG needs to know their player base. Most of us are busy adults. Just give us more time. Give us 2 months, give us 3 months. That makes more sense than just trying to rush through it. I don't see the urgency here, right? There's no reason to rush through this content. The story is good. A great example of that is the datapad stuff. People not finding them or picking up on that or seeing that as a major Easter egg, because they're probably just running right past that stuff to, escape some bug or just get it done. And you never want to put your player base in a position where they're playing the game to just get it done, right? So I really think they need to rethink this. We're doing it every month, and maybe do it every 2 months, every 3 months, and just spread it out. Again, I have no problem with the time gated gameplay, but right now I think they're rushing through it way too much, and there's no reason for that, right? The game has way too many bugs. Again, 1 month might be fine if this game ran smoothly, but I don't think that's enough time in the current state of the game.
event, there are 6 new locations that we built, 1 on each of the major planets in Pyro. These locations are discoverable by quantum marker, and at these locations you will find these outlaw depots. The difference between an outpost and a depot is that an outpost is generally a lot larger in size. There's various things to do at an outpost. It's like a little community that kind of is in one way or another self-sufficient. A depot is really just an offshoot storage location. So in that sense, it doesn't have all the amenities for a local population or for the player as well. It's more of like an offshoot location in that sense. The outlaw depots, I think, are really cool from a player perspective through the way that it's a location that is really built for the interaction. It provides a lot of cover. It's located in a more convenient, accessible way. It has very clear, distinct sections. So that helps hopefully as well for the players to kind of call out where the different people are coming from or where they are located.
One of the first missions requires you to get a commodity called Datatrine, and there's a mission for CFB and Headhunters. This commodity requires you to go to these depots where you have to invest your own money to get this Datatrine and return it to either faction that you decided to go with. Datatrine is a rare plant that they can refine, so the CFP can use it for medical purposes and the Headhunters can use it for more fun purposes. The idea as well is that if you've completed this mission series and you've got your reward, you can just keep going. You can sell these commodities in the sandbox world and get quite a big profit margin. But again, your risk is you have to put up your own money, put in your own time, and risk your own life. For the mining mission, again, both factions will require you to get 2 commodities. So they require you to get ice, which can be found on the extremities of the Pyro solar system, so as far out from the sun as you can where it gets colder, or tin, which is found closer to the sun, that can be stolen, bought, or mined and refined yourself. However you wish to get these, they don't care, they just want the commodity. And then you'll have a destination where you're asked to drop them off. And last is the salvage mission. The salvage mission is asking for RMC, so that's hull scraping, or construction materials, so that's the actual structural salvage part where you have to fracture the ship. And again, both factions are asking for it and they both have their own drop-off points. How you get the salvage is, again, up to you. You can kill ships and harvest their corpse. You could accept the salvage missions and use those ships, or you could just fly about and attempt to find the salvage panels.
The other thing to bear in mind is that all of these missions have a secondary reward mechanic, which is that you are working to get tickets so that you can get the unique rewards, which you can only get during this mission, during this month, and then they will never be offered again.
It's like the redemption at Chuck E. Cheese.
I don't understand the reference, but okay.
I'm an American lost in Britain.
Why does this matter? With our plans for this whole year of more of a content-driven releases and more of a narrative storyline, as Dave previously talked about with the A and B stories, the idea is that these missions will tie into that. The side that you choose to work with will have a lasting impact. The choices you make will define the universe that you live in. And the really cool thing about Supply or Die is because of the 3 different mission types,
Alright, so now we get a look at the skins. And it looks like there is a skin for the Vulture, the Prospector, and the new Misk Fortune. They look kind of cool. I'm not crazy about them, but there's some pretty good skins out there. These aren't too bad. And it's up to you guys. If you guys think these skins are cool and you want to go for it, do these missions. I do think they're unique, for sure. I'll definitely, be in the game trying to get them this month in March. But we'll see. I think that's an interesting move by CAG. We'll really see how it plays out. I can definitely see, it definitely feels like more people are playing, just trying to do this content and experience it, which is a good thing. But I guess only time will tell.
offer you, you can get all of the rewards without.
And there's also some containers, special containers. Those look cool. kind of like the containers more than the skins.
Ever firing a shot. And that's really exciting.
And as one chapter of the continuing fight for Pyro closes, another begins with Alpha 402 Supply or Die. But if you didn't get a chance to finish the February missions, we've extended them through to the end of March. So there's still time to choose your allegiances and secure the future that Pyro deserves.
That's really good. And again, like I was saying, I think that 1 month is not long enough. I think they should do minimum 2 months, right? Because, like I said, if you're a full-grown adult, right, and you only play on weekends, if something comes up one weekend and you can't play, then you only have 3 weekends. If something else comes up, you only have 2 weekends, right? And if, you know, you can't complete the mission because of bugs one weekend, then you only have 1 more weekend left. And it really quickly becomes this situation where you don't have an opportunity to complete the missions to get the reward. So just give people 2 months. I would feel better with 3 months, but I think minimum, just give people at least 2 months. For all those players who play on the weekends, again, most of us who play Star Citizen, we're adults and we're very busy. If CIG's player base was a bunch of kids, this would be a different story, right? But when you got a bunch of, 30 and 40, I go to my analytics, right? Most of my viewers are in their 30s and 40s, right? If you got a player base like that, you can't be doing stuff like this, right? You got to give them more time to get the content done. Realistically, it's going to be a better experience. So I hope, they're talking about this new Supply or Die stuff only lasting for March. We'll see how that goes. I think that, they extended the February missions into March. I think that they should extend the March missions into April. Just give people enough time to enjoy it, right? Instead of trying to rush to the content, you actually have time to do it. But that's going to be it for me in this video, you guys. I want to hear what you guys think about this. Do you think that CIG is crazy for doing this time limited stuff? Do you think it's a FOMO tactic? I don't know. I don't think it's too bad. I just think they should give us more time to get done. But I want to hear from you guys. That's why I do these videos. But like I always say at the end of these videos, you guys, like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Salut.